They have at long last come to terms with the hard fact, but it is far too late for them to come to terms with it. During this entire time, someone was playing them for fools right in front of their very eyes, and they were entirely unaware of the illusion that was taking place directly in front of their very eyes. Someone finally managed to get away with sending a text message to the incorrect person, confessing under the influence of alcohol, or having a moment of spite in which the mask was entirely removed. The truth emerged from the shadows, and it is impossible to conceal its presence. Starting from the very beginning, their entire circle has been making fun of their decisions, influencing their perception, and destroying their connection to you. Every erroneous story that they had been clinging to was shattered as a result of this insight, which spread throughout their consciousness. Without showing any mercy, the spiritual lightning bolt struck, shedding light on the shadowy areas where dishonesty was actively growing. It was always the case that their closest buddies were actually enemy operatives, intentionally positioned to build a wedge between you and them. At this point, they are obsessed with dissecting every interaction, every conversation, and every piece of kind advice that they received that ultimately led them to avoid you. They were unable to perceive the road that was clearly laid out for them by the breadcrumbs of betrayal. They failed to recognize the obvious nature of the plot against your relationship, which was not a covert one, but rather a clear one. They are experiencing physical pain, in addition to the emotional whirlwind that is tearing through them. The weight of this understanding is crushing their chest. They have a hard time breathing because the pressure of what might have been if they had just trusted their instincts rather than the poisonous whispers that are all around them is so oppressive that it is difficult for them to breathe. Tears come on suddenly and unexpectedly, whether they are in their car, in the middle of a meeting, or in the shower. Due to the fact that the dam has been breached, remorse permeates every aspect of their existence. Memories continuously assault them. All those times they defended the very people who secretly engineered their collapse. All those times they disregarded your warnings as insanity when you just saw what they refused to admit. Their memories are persistent. It is a gap that grows larger with each new discovery, and the hollowness that they feel swells within them. There is no longer any trust. When they take a look about, they come to the realization that there is no one in their circle who actually has their best interests at heart. This can be a heartbreaking realization. Their reliance on allegiance was a carefully crafted act that they orchestrated. Names and faces that they had completely trusted are revealed to be the architects of their downfall. The friend who had always been concerned about you is revealed to have been jealous. The family member who never thought you were good enough is revealed to have feared your influence. The co-worker who constantly highlighted your differences is revealed to have been the source of vicious rumors. There were group chats that were solely devoted to monitoring and manipulating their relationship with you. There were secret meetings where strategies were developed to create distance. There were deliberate misrepresentations of your words, your intentions, and your character. All of these things were calculated to poison the connection that threatened their control. Every new piece of information that comes to light expands the scope of the conspiracy to the point where it is incomprehensible. In the meantime, you continue to be elevated and impenetrable. Your energy functions at a frequency that their chaos is unable to reach. While their world in disarray continues to collapse, you continue to grow. They find the contradiction to be both astonishing and unavoidable, both at the same time. They have now come to the realization that your restrictions were not a sign of coldness, but rather of divine protection. Everything in the universe worked together to protect you from this poisonous atmosphere. Rather than being unjustified accusations, your intuition warnings were a manifestation of spiritual discernment. Once upon a time, they questioned the peculiar spiritual activities you engaged in. Now, they wish with all their heart that they had paid heed. During the night, they are plagued by dreams, which consist of visions of you standing in golden light while they are frozen in gloom. The meaning of the spiritual symbolism is quite clear. You were the light that they should have walked toward, and they should have never moved away from you. Your energy signature is still obvious. It is unadulterated, potent, and completely genuine. They have the impression that everything around them is tainted by comparison. The disparity between what they selected and what they did not go with becomes increasingly excruciating with each passing day. Previously, a source of irritation due to the fact that it shed light on their darkness, your light now stands for the redemption that they have sacrificed. The games that they performed in order to keep you confused and off balance have now caused them to doubt whether or not they are sane. They lie lost in their own world, unsure of what is genuine and what is fabrication. What they are lying about is not real. They dismissed your perceptions as excessively thinking, your boundaries as being tough, and your concerns as being dramatic. Now the universe is delivering the vindication that you never asked for but have always earned. Each and every suspicion that you expressed came to pass with a level of precision that was just terrible. You were given the silent treatment when you wanted communication, and when they desperately needed answers, they received it 10 times more than they did when you were. The allegation that they made against you for overreacting when you voiced concerns that were founded in reality is now being reverberated back at them. The universe provides them with the very same experiences that they have crafted for you, word for word, and action for action, and vice versa. They are awestruck by the precision, and the mathematical perfection of this karmic reflection is a source of terror for them. When it comes to the cosmic accounting system, nothing is ever lost. Every single debt needs to be paid off precisely at the moment when it will teach the most important lesson. In their immediate vicinity, the bright future that was promised to them is in ruins. As quickly as the mist in the morning, the better possibilities that were supposed to be waiting for you, if they only let you go, have vanished. Those who claimed to be able to direct people toward their ultimate benefit instead led them straight into traps that were designed to sap their energy resources and their genuine power. The environment that they chose to surround themselves with, rather than your genuine relationship, has been shown to be hollow. You are here for a reason. If you feel the call, answer it. Click join to unlock exclusive content, deep insights, and a powerful community. This isn't just a membership, it's an awakening. Step into your divine purpose. Join the chosen. The joy that they failed to recognize as genuine connection was actually nothing more than the transitory rush of distraction. When they avoided the depth that you offered, they felt a sense of comfort. However, that relief has now been replaced with the fear of superficiality. Gold was exchanged for glitter, and the transaction cannot be undone after it has been completed. All of the promises that were given to them are now broken by their side. The career improvements that were intended to be achieved by connecting oneself with the appropriate individuals did not materialize. When compared to the intensity that you delivered, the romantic bonds that might feel easier to maintain were proven to be superficial. The social position that they placed a higher priority on than their own spiritual development is falling apart right in front of their eyes. The truth is like an earthquake. Each disclosure destroys another support beam, and eventually, the entire building is on the verge of collapsing. The castle that was built on lies cannot endure the earthquake of truth. The very people they selected over you might be plotting against them, and they are unable to sleep. How could they possibly rest when they are unable to sleep? At this very moment, their mobile device continues to seem like a jail, with each notification perhaps bringing additional evidence of betrayal. Still, they are unable to turn away. They keep up the appearance in group conversations, pretending that everything is still going well, while in the background, they are covertly preparing ways to get out of situations that they had before enthusiastically welcomed. They were afraid of the genuine commitment you gave because they were concerned that it would limit their freedom. Now, however, they find themselves in a situation where they are actually stuck, ensnared in webs of phony obligations, deceptive connections, and relationships that are constructed entirely on shifting sand. There is no place where they can fully relax their guard, no place where they can make sense of the magnitude of what they have seen without being watched by the same powers that they are attempting to flee from. When you offered them a refuge that was based on truth, they turned it down in favor of a prison cell that was decked with flattering lies. This harsh irony is brought to my attention with complete clarity. They were in possession of the key to freedom, but they chose to throw it away, opting instead to pursue the illusion of independence rather than the reality of living in sacred partnership. The longer time passes, the more complicated their entanglements get. It is only those who are dominating the narrative who are able to strengthen their hold with each attempt to free themselves. The web has an excessive number of anchors, as well as an excessive number of sticky threads that tie them to individuals who are aware of their awakening and strive extra hard to preserve control. They continue to present a front to the public. The meticulously maintained social media presence reveals no indication of the internal breakdown that they are experiencing. Disintegration occurs behind closed doors. They now have front-row seats to their unraveling, and some of them surreptitiously record the breakdown for their own entertainment. The same people they intended to impress with your rejection are now watching everything unfold. Any and all attempts to confide in anyone are fruitless. The individuals whom they would regard to be allies have already been poisoned against them through the meticulous assassination of their character. The isolation has been established in a comprehensive and intelligent manner. The revelation that has left them in a state of shock is the most frightening one. Dark powers have been actively working against your bond from the very beginning. They have found evidence of intentional interference from the spiritual realm, which consists of individuals who recognize the strength of your connection and worked diligently to break it. Someone who was close to the victim finally admitted their guilt or spite, saying, "We all saw how she looked at you, how she would have moved mountains for you. Her energy was too powerful, too pure. Including myself, she would have been able to see through everyone. We had to separate you two," said another person, admitting that they had fed them lies, particularly because they felt threatened by your light. You changed when you were with her. You started questioning things, growing too much, and becoming too aware. The coordinated activities of the 8 tools went beyond mere gossip or manipulation, including energy work, intention setting, and ritualistic rituals. We could not allow that to continue. Because of this revelation, they are shaken to their very core, and it explains why they felt so strangely confused, so unnaturally uncertain, and so irrationally provoked any time they were on the verge of developing their connection with you. Currently, they are making frantic efforts to get in touch with you, yearning to provide an explanation for their awakening. But divine timing functions with flawless precision. It is precisely at the moment when you have completely moved beyond their reach that they are ready. During the time that they were wasting their valuable time playing games and entertaining others who made fun of you in front of them, you were able to reach levels that they were unable to reach through traditional methods. Your genuine power will be rewarded by the universe with expansions in domains that they otherwise would not have supported. This is the last confirmation that waiting for their awakening was never your responsibility. Your progress without them serves as the final confirmation. Their function in your narrative came to an end at the precise moment that it was intended to, so paving the way for connections that respect your authentic frequency. Without any room for interpretation, the cosmos conveys its message. Opportunities for divine connection come into existence when they are supposed to, and they disappear when they are denied. The cosmic clock continues to tick, regardless of the opposition or sorrow that a human being may feel. Whenever someone discusses you, they find themselves unable to speak because their phone is stuck in their throat. A flutter in their stomach, a tightening in their chest, and a moment in which time appears to stand still are all of the physical reactions that they experience. Suddenly, they find themselves poring at old messages and photographs, urgently looking for the cautions they disregarded, the warning signs they disregarded, and the reality that was always there. Random sensory sensations confront them throughout their days, such as a song that played during a meaningful time between you. Locations that have memories of genuine connection now feel haunted by the ghost of potential that has not been realized. The realization that they chose fool's gold over your genuine diamond, false affirmation over soul recognition, and the illusion of freedom over the reality of holy collaboration is the sort of revelation that is most profound when it occurs in the night. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. They are afflicted with a spiritual autoimmune disease in which their soul fights the decisions that have led them to stray from their highest path. This awareness eats them from the inside out. Dreams of various timelines haunt them, glimpses of the life that might have unfolded had they made a different choice. Your children they will never meet, your home they will never share, your progress they will never witness, and the healing they otherwise may have had as a result of the genuine love you showed. The hollow existence that they are currently navigating is not as genuine as these phantom realities, which feel more genuine. Whatever was left of their previous comprehension is shattered by the final crushing realization. They were never the main player in their own story. Rather, they were only a pawn that was moved strategically in someone else's game against your connection. People who understood your power long before they did, who recognized the threat that your union constituted to the control mechanisms that they had constructed, were the ones who engineered their entire world. As they see the carefully choreographed split play out exactly as intended, those same buddies who criticized you behind your back while smiling to your face now laugh at their downfall. They exchange knowing glances as they watch the separation play out exactly as planned. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull. Tap Join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. It is too late to disentangle the threads when the puppet masters are revealed to be standing. Everything, including the coincidental timing of other options appearing when you were getting closer. The random job offer that created physical distance, the unexpected family emergencies that interrupted crucial conversations, and the surprising reappearance of exes just as your bond deepened, were all meticulously orchestrated components of a master plan that they never suspected at the time. In the stark light of consciousness, the strings that were linked to every critical choice that they made are now obvious. The constructed story served a single purpose: to keep you two away. This was accomplished via the use of subtle redirections whenever they advanced toward you, clever interventions whenever insight began to emerge, and planned distractions used whenever authenticity threatened to break through. Due to the fact that they continually disregarded more gentle notifications, this awakening comes with an excruciatingly intense intensity. It is often the case that the universe starts with whispers before resorting to screams. The intuitive nudges they rejected, the synchronicities they discarded, the dreams they forgot, and the body signals they overrode. All of them were examples of divine mercy's attempts to make course corrections before the lesson needed destruction. They are now experiencing the required suffering that is accelerating their spiritual progress. The fire that might have warmed them now cleanses them through the process of burning. The water that could have nourished them now cleanses them through drowning. The earth that could have supported them now transforms through earthquakes. The air that could have inspired them now reveals itself through hurricanes. In light of the fact that subtlety was unsuccessful, every component readjusts their knowledge through using extremes. This is not only a lesson in life, rather, it is a recalibration of the soul. Due to the fact that the divergence from the path that their soul was supposed to take reached a critical size, the cosmic forces have intervened rather strongly. Due to the fact that the misalignment has become severe, the correction appears to be harsh. The awakening is perceived as being violent because their resistance has become more stubborn. They have now come to the realization that the primary issue was not your intensity, but rather your lucidity. The requests that you made were not unreasonable. Rather, they were genuine. You did not exhibit an overwhelming amount of emotions. Rather, they were proportionate to the spiritual assault that was conducted against your relationship. All of the things that they found objectionable in you were precisely what they required, but which they were not prepared to incorporate. During the time that they are waking up to the betrayal, you have already constructed your kingdom out of sight. In order for your crown to shine, it was never necessary for them to validate it. Your throne was never in need of their acceptance in order to remain stable. And your sovereignty was never dependent on their recognition in order to rule efficiently. Intuition was not a form of paranoia. Rather, it was a spiritual legacy that enabled you to recognize potential threats before they became completely apparent. The exact characteristics that they ridiculed in you, your sensitivity, your intensity, your vision, and your boundaries, were not defects, but rather complex spiritual technologies that they lacked the evolution to comprehend. Your perception operates at frequencies that are beyond ordinary consciousness. Your discernment functions via mechanisms that cannot be explained logically, and your limits create themselves through knowledge that is beyond contemporary understanding. Their destruction substantiates what you have always known. You were never in need of validation from the outside world for what your spirit has always confirmed. The waking of these beings is a spiritual validation that you are on the right path, but they are never your destination. The vindication comes at the most opportune moment, not when you are desperately looking for it, but when you are absolutely no longer in need of it. Rather than providing evidence when your ego asked for it for the sake of comfort, the universe provides evidence precisely when it supports your finest evolution. You continue to go forward on waves that are divinely timed while they are drowning in remorse. During the time that they are dealing with betrayal, you are confronted with avenues of genuine connection. During the time that people are processing their disillusionment, you are creating new realities that are in alignment with these frequencies. However, your ongoing progress is a manifestation of cosmic grace, while their waking serves the purpose of cosmic justice. The objective for which the contract between your souls was designed has been accomplished. The lessons have been imparted, received, and incorporated. The energetic exchanges have achieved their logical conclusion, and the karmic balances have been adjusted to the appropriate calibration. In your relationship, there is nothing left unfinished. The recognition that they get comes at a divinely appointed moment, not for the purpose of reconciliation, but rather for the purpose of resolution. Not for the purpose of reunion, but rather for the purpose of release. Not for the purpose of reclaiming, but rather for the purpose of remembering. The closure that they are looking for on the outside has already materialized on a spiritual level. The talk that they consider to be essential has already come to an end on an energy level. The forgiveness that they might ask for has already been granted on a vibrating level. At this moment, you are standing in graduation, not anticipation; in completeness, not continuation; in evolution, beyond the cycles that once characterized your relationship once determined. While their class continues to focus on the fundamentals of authentic perception, you will be exploring the more sophisticated applications of sovereign creation. The intensity of betrayal and loss is necessary for their spiritual education, whilst the subtleties of co-creation and manifestation are what allow yours to grow and develop. It is not cruel to both souls concerned that you have been liberated from this dynamic. Rather, it is a manifestation of divine kindness. It is not possible to circumvent their essential teachings by re-establishing a connection. Similarly, your ongoing growth cannot be served by resorting to regression. Your paths are separated with perfect precision by the divine orchestration, which enables diverse evolutions to progress without being blocked by an entanglement that formerly served a purpose but would now create constraint. Your success is witnessed by the universe, which includes the awakening that you experienced in front of them, the illusions that you penetrated without any external validation, the manipulations that you identified without any collective affirmation, and the truth that you honored despite the fact that you were going against coordinated opposition. It is not via vindication that you attain this spiritual sovereignty. Rather, it is by unwavering alignment with your greatest understanding that you obtain the genuine victory.